Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Just before we get started, here is the code of conduct. Just ensure you're respectful throughout the session. And let's get direct into the session. Welcome, Vlad. How are you?
Hi, Josh. Nice to meet you. I'm fine and dandy, enjoying the very rainy weather that's that's outside. But hey, at least it's not snowing like last week. So fine, happy to be here. Sorry for the delay. I think it was because we weren't in the same broadcast. But happy we got that working.
Got it. Ready?
Absolutely. All right. I'm guessing I should share my screen. If I can figure that out, let me see. I click the present button and I click the share screen button, and ooh, there's some tips. I love tips. So if I click the entire screen and then try to figure out which screen I want to share, and with the power of screen sharing, I managed to do it. All right. So hi everyone. Thanks for waiting. I'm Vlad. I do a lot of things, but mainly I work as a machine learning guy at the at the software company in Romania. So we're almost in the same time zone, and also have a little cutie startup in the energy sector. That yeah, fingers crossed you'll hear about more in the future. And I'm also a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional on artificial intelligence. And speaking of artificial intelligence, I'm here to tell you all about building and deploying, wow, a predictive model with GitHub Copilot and GitHub Codespaces, which are two very cool pieces of technology. I can't wait to tell you more about them. All right. So first off, let's see what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah. The introduction. Always love the introduction. I think we're in the introduction right now. Then I'm going to give you an overview of Codespaces and a short demo of what you can do with it. Then we'll see what you can also do with GitHub Copilot. You're going to love it. And see how far we can go building a predictive model, right? So first off, what is GitHub Codespaces? Well, these are it's a really good description. So let's go with this description, but I think you'll enjoy it more when I show it to you, when I demo it, right? So on the first hand, it's a cloud-based development environment. Yeah, that means you don't have to download anything, you don't have to run anything on your computer, which is really great. And I feel like it enables a lot of on-the-go scenarios. Right, because I when I first heard about Codespaces, I kept on wondering, okay, why would I want to do that, right? I have a reasonable laptop, let's say. Yeah, I can work on it. It's faster. Why do I need to bother with machines in the cloud that I cannot fully control? And then I figured, yeah, okay, but my laptop is not going to be a good fit for all of my workloads. So for example, if I do heavier machine learning development, I'm not doing it on my laptop, right? I'm doing remote development on some machine in the cloud, in this case, most likely something on Azure ML, right? So not all my development is done on my laptop, but let's say about light development. Well, I think Codespaces is a really good fit for light development as well, right? Because I can do it on the road, right? I can get my iPad or my phone, and I can be on a train somewhere, and I don't need I don't want I don't know, a Git client. I don't want a text editor. I don't. How do I run a server on my iPad? It's complicated, right? And in these scenarios, I think Codespaces really shines, right? Because it allows you to code, build, test, debug, and deploy from anywhere via your browser. And luckily, in the year 2023, everyone has a browser with them at all times, which is not necessarily great, right? All right. What are the advantages? Some quick features, and then we'll get right to it. Yeah. Codespaces. It's relatively fast to create and dispose. So it's not something like click a button and then wait for 10 minutes for a virtual machine to be provisioned. No, it's quite fast. 1 or 2 minutes, I think, tops to create the first time. Yeah, it's pay for what you use, because in the cloud, yeah, you're you're not you're renting compute basically. So it's not running on a machine, but it's running on somebody's machine, and you will need to pay for that. Yeah, it reduces the workload on your personal machine. So that means you can you can watch a lot of YouTube videos while doing development. It's brilliant. Yeah, you can work from any browser. So you'll see I'm on a Mac, so I'm using Edge and the Chrome for some things, but my main browser is Safari, and it's really frustrating when some platforms don't support it. Codespaces supports it beautifully, so I'm happy to develop in it, right? You can well, it's real-time collaboration with others using live share. And how does that happen? It happens because basically Codespaces has a Visual Studio Code well, UI, let's say. They say it's similar, but I think it's pretty much the same. Now, let me show you how it looks like. So here I have a light machine learning project on GitHub. It was gracefully written by Bethany and forked by me. So let's say we want to see what it is, and we want to develop a bit, right? So first of all, yeah, I have the option, of course, to just click, copy this, go to my machine, git clone, whatever, open it in Visual Studio. But what if I don't want to, right? What if I'm on the road? Then I can just create a new code space, right? It's Ideal Happiness, such a great name, don't you think? So I wanted to create a new code space and not use the one I had already created before, just for you to see how fast it is to just set up. So you see, it's really familiar. It's basically, yeah, it's a Visual Studio Code UI. Let's see. You see, I'm already connected to GitHub. So that means it knows my identity. It's really easy to do Git operations. Plus, yeah, it's Visual Studio Code. It's got its terminal. It's got the beautiful pop-ups, which I cannot get enough. To be honest, I cannot get enough of Visual Studio Code pop-ups. I see one every 30 minutes. I'm gonna dismiss it like I do with most of them. But beautiful, beautiful pop-ups. I do not want an option that disables all pop-ups. Definitely, nobody should do that. Wink. Right? All right. So look, I cracked a few bad jokes, and this is it. I forgot to time it, but I think it was something like 30, 40 seconds. Not bad, right? So I can already start coding, right? I can, so let's see, what do we have here? We have a CSV, all right, pretty cool. But what if I want to see, I know there's an extension if I want to run this locally that highlights the colors in a CSV. Let's see. Ah, look, I have an extensions tab. Let's see if I can get something to Rainbow CSV. That was it. All right, let's install it. Let's see what this does. Oh my God. So yeah, not only do we have an IDE in the cloud, right? It's running in Vlad's Ideal Happiness. Beautiful. I can also install extensions. Yeah, I can install extensions like, well, and this is a bit of foreshadowing, GitHub Copilot. Let's install it. We'll catch this. We'll look at this later. But right, so I have a machine in the cloud. Let's see. So I'm guessing there's an app to run. There is an app to run. If I were to run this app, let's say I'm in this folder, right? Let's see what files we have here. It's those files. If I try to python app.py, will it work? Let's see. Oh my God. Oh my God, it works. It's beautiful. So I have an application running in the cloud on a remote machine. It's really cool. But let's say I don't want to run this right now, right? Let's say, maybe let's say I don't want to use a hey, another pop-up. Close. Right. Let's say I don't want to use the browser for this. Right. Maybe most likely you have an instance of Visual Studio Code lying around. I'm surprised at how many people use this. It's one of my favorite IDEs. I use it daily. So it's good having this in the cloud. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But what if I wanted to run this locally? By the power of the command palette, let's see Codespaces. Now, there is this Codespaces extension that you can use to manage, well, your Codespaces. And look, I have this great option over here, open in Visual Studio Code desktop. Let's see what this does. Oh, allow this page to open Visual Studio Code. Sure. All done, you can close this tab now. I don't want to. I'll click cancel. But instead, wants to open in URI. Open it. So, right, what are we seeing here? This is my native, Visual Studio Code. So I'm no longer running in the browser, although ideal happiness, am I right? I'm running native code, and right, it's brilliant. And if I open the terminal, you see it says it's right here, Codespaces, right? If I open a terminal, I'm in the same folder as I was here, right? In Vlad Iliescu Workspaces, ML with Copilot. So if I'm right, so the terminal now is connected to the workspace, to the code space. So let's see what we have here. Oh my God, what users are there? I can see that. Me and Linux were never good friends, to be honest. If I had a course in that, I would have failed it. So terrible. But I know the ls command, and I know I know what I'm seeing. So basically, what happened here, right? We have a secure connection between my local machine. So if I'm on my PC, right, and want to do some development, PC or Mac, right, I can use native software to connect to Codespaces, right, which is really cool. I've also used successfully offerings from IntelliJ, such as PyCharm. Those are a bit more complicated to set up. They're not, they don't work as well. But yeah, if you're fans of IntelliJ like I am, it's a really good option for trying. All right, what's next? I think I moved over a bit fast over here because honestly, I was very excited to show you how this works. But let's see. One thing I also wanted to show is that these Codespaces, so I have two, right? Opulent Broccoli, because broccoli, right? And Ideal Happiness, and they're both associated with the current branch. So if I visit, let's say, master, I don't have any Codespaces here, right? My Codespaces, they're on a branch by branch basis. So, and this is interesting, no? Because then it means you can have multiple machines, multiple machines in the cloud, each of them configured for a certain branch. Let's say, I don't know, maybe on a branch you do some kind of development, you do. Actually, I can't think of good use case for this. Sorry. My use case, to be honest, my use case is sometimes I don't commit my changes. I know. So sometimes, for example, in this Opulent Broccoli guy, I made some changes which I did not, unfortunately, I did commit them. Sorry. I could have made some changes that I didn't commit, and then they would have stayed only on this code space, right? So let's say I'm switching over to VS Code and deploy the model to the cloud. No, will not do. Will not do this. Yes, great job, Copilot. I don't know what I would have done without Copilot, right? No, I will not do this. So I'm saving them. All right, and let's start Opulent Broccoli. I want to open this in the browser, to be honest. Setting it up, right? So this is a code space I had already created before today, but so it doesn't need to be allocated, but it does need to be started, right? So let's say how long it takes for this guy to start. Setting up the connection, starting the code space. Okay. I think it was actually faster to just create a code space. No, they're comparable. So what do we see? On the one hand, you see the files I had opened before, right? They're not the same as an ideal happiness, right? On Opulent Broccoli, you see different files. It remembers the session, right? And on app by my comments, my beautiful comments generated with AI, they're not there, right? So if at any point you want to switch between two different versions of the code, and maybe you don't want to git stash things because you just don't want to, life's too short to git stash, I think, then you can just create a new code space, pay for that as well. Advantage, disadvantage. But you can keep the files over there separated, right? Yeah, so pretty cool stuff. I'll leave this open for now and pay the bill later. One more thing I wanted to show is how well synchronized this is. So let's see, I'm right, not sure. Now I realize that you may not see this very well. Let me zoom things up a bit. Right, so on the left, I have Safari, right? And on the right, I have Visual Studio Code. So let's see how fast this synchronizes. Let's see how fast this syncs. Beautiful. Yes, save. Wow. And what about the other way around? I didn't even have to hit save, right? Notice, so here, save indicator. Indicator. No, it's on. You can't trust AI, right? I will click save. Let's just do it from save. Boom, save indicator. Yeah. No. Yes, exactly. Save indicator off. AI. I knew I could count on you, right? So it's pretty cool and pretty snappy. You know, this synchronization. So yeah, if you're doing development on the cloud version, yeah, on the browser version, you don't really have to worry about saving things. If you do it on desktop, well, it's your prerogative, let's say. Right. So I also wanted to show you a little bit because you know, sometimes I have a weird sense of humor, and it might come off that this I don't like this, and I really like this. I'm really proud. I want to show you how I use it sometimes. So this is a pretty private repo. It's my website, right? So my website is hosted on Git. It's built using a blogging engine called Hugo. It's written in Go, and the idea is that it's pretty static. How it works is I edit a bunch of markdown files, and then I git commit, and somewhere over the rainbow there's a cloud machine that compiles it, renders it as HTML, and we get this thing, right? And one thing that always frustrated me was that you know, I've tried WordPress and hated it every single minute. But one thing I loved was that I was able to edit. I don't need Git to be able to write a new post, and it's very not for not for people that are not developers. So it's very for developers, let's say. Plus, I always need my laptop, right? But with Codespaces, what I can do is just start the Codespace. I can edit a file, and I can see it live on my website, and that's pretty cool, to be honest. That is pretty cool. One more thing I really like, so again, talking from this standpoint, is that I can run small servers on this code space and access them. So let me show you, because I really wanted to demo this. So I'm going to open the terminal. I mean, this is what it looks like. The structure doesn't matter. It's a lot of old and new code, and that's why it's not public, basically, but it's good for demos. So Hugo would go, if I'm to open up a server, and that's what I would write. Yeah, Hugo. But now issue is that I started the wrong code space, the one with no configuration, right? You see, my application is running on port 1313, but if I open this in browser, it will fail miserably. It's page not found, but a song to make me feel better. But I don't want to feel better. I want this to work, right? So in Hugo, wow, lots of pop-ups. Told you, I love them. Let me make this big. If I'm to paste this, right? So I'm sorry, I have the stream here. So if I can see, you see, this is optimized for a different server, but if I'm gonna use this, no, it's base URL, paste. Wow. Let me rephrase that, right? So Hugo base URL is this. Paste. Yes, pasting works a bit differently than I expected. All right. I'm going to give you the server command and the append port, because I do not want the port to be appended to some links. Right. And if I open this in browser, it still does not work. I will make one final last try, because I tried this on a different branch and it was a bit super. Of course, I have another branch named Codespaces, which I totally ignored. It's one commit ahead of master, and that commit meant everything, right? On current branch, it's Supreme Acorn. Yes, I do want to start yet another cloud machine that costs me money. It's a great hobby. You should try it. Right. So my apologies. I created this earlier, and then I got emotional, let's say. Right. So right now, my fourth code space is starting. This is what a post looks like. Right. And here I had created a handy run sh that can be used to just run this, and without me having to worry about the correct syntax. Yes, I do want to open this in browser. All right. And what I wanted to show was that I could. Yeah, this was a this was a triumph. Let's say triumph. I don't need to save it, right? So it's updated. So this is really cool when first of all, when I use the correct branch. Second of all, when I don't want to use a laptop, just even on my phone. Although I'm very bad at writing posts on my phone. I get this, so I should not do it. anyways, I wanted to show you this before we move to the next bit of this talk. GitHub Copilot, right? Now, if this were a room, I would ask you to raise your hand if you've used AI-assisted development. I think that's going to be the buzzword of the year. I'm guessing a lot of you have heard, if not used, ChatGPT, GPT-4, maybe even something more exotic from Anthropic like Claude. If not, you should try it. It's quite interesting. Well, Copilot is like that, but it's packaged as an extension, right? So that has some advantages and disadvantages, which we'll discuss in a moment, right? But you should know that it offers code suggestions based on your project. The cool thing is you can prompt it. You can add some comments telling it do this and this, and we'll see how this works in a moment. And it will just work. You know, if it sees a pattern in the code, it will just work. If you prompt it to give me alternate ways to do a thing, it will also work. Right? So, of course, it increases your productivity as it helps you code faster and better through suggesting code for you. It can help you with a variety of tasks, including writing, documentation, and testing. Now, actually, I do have some feedback over here. I was testing Copilot since it came out. It's like a lifetime ago, and I actually noticed then that you're gonna have to be way better at code reviewing, because sometimes it will get just perfect, beautiful, elegant code, and other times, you know, not basically not. So you do need to use your judgment a bit. It's a great tool, and it can really improve your speed. But yeah, we should be mindful that speed is not always the answer. You know, it matters the direction in which we're going, and also the speed with which we're going. But if we're going in the wrong direction, we can go there as fast as we can, but it's not gonna help us reach our goals, right? So you should be mindful of how this works, right? And let me show this to you using Codespaces. Well, you've seen a bit this site of mine, and you've seen a bit of what it can do over here. Now, let's say, let me open up this very cool notebook. That well, that's basically a notebook loading up the Titanic data set, and let's see how we can prompt Copilot, right, to give us insights about the data set. Yeah. Let's say we don't know how to code, or really not sure about the pandas instructions. I have to Google them each and every time, right? But we have Copilot. So for starters, of course, it cannot know which Python libraries it can import. But let's say, let me try a thing. So let me give it a prompt. I want to, yes, I do want this. Thank you. No. First, also, the one of the things I noticed with Copilot is that you cannot think as well as before, because it keeps prompting, and you keep on interrupting the thought process just to see that, is that suggestion good? Is it bad? Oftentimes when writing, I actually disable it, and then I enable it again, and then I disable it. It's a process. But what do we want first? First, we want to do let's think before writing, because otherwise it will get in the way, right? First, I want to analyze the data. To analyze and see what I mean? The data. Thanks, Copilot. I will, let's, all right. And what next, Marty Pants? But you see, it's cheating. It sees the the libraries I had imported. But impressive, right? Pandas and seaborn libraries. The imports are all right, and that's it. All right, it cannot know about the other ones, but pretty cool, right? Look, so what I wanted to say earlier is this is a pretty cool, as opposed to ChatGPT or yeah, whatever GPT, as opposed to the chat assistant. Copilot's strength is that it has access to your project context, right? So it can see, well, and this project is pretty small, but I've had it read a class in one file. I was doing C# development, right? And I was writing a class in one file and then switched to another file and wrote some code that was calling an instance of that class from the first file. And it generated some very good suggestions, to be honest. Like it knew the members. It could wrap them in a dictionary and send them as JSON really fast. So it does have the context of the whole project, whereas chat assistants don't really have it, right? So let me, I actually have, I think it's on the, yeah, I've stopped it. My apologies. Yeah, I stopped it. Dismiss the tip. Let me start, because I have I actually have a GPT-4 chatbot running. I'm using, if you're curious, a fork of this of McKay Wrightley's chatbot UI. So that basically it's like ChatGPT, but you use your own keys, yeah, your own open AI key. And in the case of my fork, I'm also using this for Azure OpenAI, right? So I have it configured to use GPT-4. So if I'm open, I don't want to open this here. I want to open this here. Yes, localhost 3000. All right, let's start the news chat. All right. And let's say I want to also copy this. Let's say what it says. It's a bit slower, right? But I get similar code. You see, the advantage from a chat bot assistant is that you can have more, let's say, I'm going to use the word meaningful, but that's not a good word. Longer conversations would be a better word. Whereas Copilot is more task focused, right? But Copilot has access to your entire project, whereas Chat GPT or whatever chatbot, you need to explain it to it. And any case, when Copilot next is going to be on, so that's, hope you're on the wait list. You totally should be on the wait list. It's fantastic. I'm really excited about that because it increases. Right now, Copilot has a limited context side. So by context, I mean how many information, pieces of information, tokens, it can use to make a prediction, right? To know what I want. And Copilot, if I remember correctly, has something like 2,000 tokens. Whereas, so a token is something like an English word, let's say. So 2,000 words, which is, it's not a little, it's not a lot, right? But GPT-4 has an 8,000 token limit, and GPT-4 32K has a 32,000 limit. So you know, we'll be able to ingest like entire projects, not just a couple of files, smallish projects, but still, to make the prediction. So I'm really excited. But okay, I digress. I just wanted to give you a bit of an overview of yeah, Copilot in the context of this AI revolution that we're seeing from the passenger seat, I think. All right, let me drop this and see what's going on over here, right? So I have this Titanic CSV that we've seen with a beautiful rainbow extension, and we're opening it. Yes, I do. I thought I had this open. Why? Yes, I want to install everything. In my defense, I had them installed on the previous code space, because I just looked, I can just use it here, right? Close others. Yes, can I use it here? Let's see now. This is the moment of truth. Python environments. Yes, no. Python environments. Titanic. I had created this. And a great name, I think. All right, so yes, I can run this. I can run. Can I? No, it's connected to the kernel. Still connected to the kernel. What about this guy? Another pop-up. No, can I run it here? Connecting to both are connecting. That's a lifetime of connecting to kernels. All right. Works now. So I can check the first rows of the data set. Now, let's see. Can I do the last 5 rows of the data? Titanic tail. Titanic.tail. Sure. That was just a test of mine. All right, cool. Number of rows in. All right, I'm guessing shape. And let's cross-check this with GPT-4. What if it lies? Do. Data frame, not Titanic. Remember that Titanic is a pandas data frame. What does Titanic shape do? Thinking. Dimensions of the, all right, blah, 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 Titanic. And is it's less, but still, right? Rows and columns, they can't both be lying. That's important to know, right? So using AI to check AI. Column names, of course, Copilot. All right, I'm gonna take its word for it. Data types of the, all right. Information. Cool. So can you confirm or infirm? Can you infirm? Let's ask it to infirm. Infirm that. Let's see. Checks the number of missing. Well, let's see now. Checks. Huh? I said infirm. Slash does a beautiful thing in this, so I said infirm. Anyways, I'll leave it ponder for this, but cool, right? What about the number of unique columns and unique? At this point, I trust it completely with my life, which just so happens that, but it feels right? The number of value count. So to me, this beats having to Google the pandas docs, or worse, having to remember them, because it's like a lot. So survived value counts normalized in percentage. Beautiful. Alternate way. they should be in a different cell so as to check this. But all right, bam, and same numbers. And what did, yes, I can, no, apologies. Can so you know what I love about the current generation of chatbots is that if you ask them with enough confidence, they can infirm. Bots. What will they think of next? All right. It's the same thing. Now it's just repeating my. It's like I think it's mad at me for checking its results with the big brother. All right. Oh, look, a chart. I didn't tell it to use a chart. Using a chart. Okay, what does this do? Code. Yeah, I understand why people say Seaborn looks better. Those are better colors. I mean, also, I just want to say, still running this in the browser. Pretty cool, right? All right. A pie chart. Nobody wants to see a pie chart. Correlation. That's what I want to see. No, and sure, but didn't I do this? At one point, you have to realize it's Copilot was probably trained on a lot, like a lot of open source code, and a lot of the open source code was including Titanic analysis, because that's how a lot of people start, including myself. So most likely it can recite by heart the entire analysis. So let's just delete everything. I don't want. Let's be. What does it try to do? Check in each class in percentage. Okay, let's. Right. Use charts. Let's give it a good command. Use charts. It listened to me. It's beautiful. More charts. More charts. I find that exclamation marks in all caps work beautiful when communicating to other people. Beautiful. All right. Cross tab. But not with bots. I said more charts. I said, nah, more charts, please. See? You have to ask it nicely. Communication is the cornerstone of everything, basically. Everything. Listen to me, I'm an MVP. All right. So I won't talk about this more. I think you got the point, and I think you kind of see the value in here, right? You just prompt it, it generates code, right? And you still need to think about the code. You still need to understand, but I feel like it does remove a certain amount of friction, and between you and what you want to achieve. And if I may, just one thing, I'm going to switch over to GPT-4, which I know it's not Copilot, but it's going to be soon. So Copilot soon, I expect to be based on this. And yeah, soon I expect to do something like this. I'm doing an analysis on the Titanic data set. What should I check? Now, or let me be specific. Give me top 5 things to check. And with an S. I know things it's spelled with an S, but right. So that's what I expect for us to have in the future and in the next versions of Copilot. Fingers crossed, right? I want to tell it what I want to achieve. I wanted to come up with a plan based on my my suggestions, and then please write the analysis code for this. I used please, right? I learned my lesson. Use pandas and Seaborn. Now let's see what this does. Okay, if I had been using GPT, so the free version of ChatGPT, GPT is 3.5, this would have been faster, but right now, despite of what it says right here, I'm using GPT-4. It's a hack. So my fork is not the best fork, right? All right. So let's copy this code. Can I copy the code? And what does it say? Visualize relation 5 factors. All right. Code pasted. I'm not not going to do this, and then I'm going to create one cell for each. Let's see if this works. Okay, survival rate by passenger class. Interesting. Next, sex and survival. Always a touchy feeling. All right. Ouch. Right. PLT show. I missed this. Maybe this was big. No. Everybody dies, especially if you're a man. All right. Analyze age and survival. Good job for the elderly. You know, women and children first. That was really good. Okay, okay. Fair and survival. All right. How much money did you pay for this? It's worth overpaying, I think. All right. And family relationships and survival. So you see, right? What I wanted to show is also one approach to development that I'm taking more and more at the moment. You know, just when doing AI assistant development, just try to ask the AI for a plan, or give it a plan and ask it for implementation details, or ask it to do an analysis, something like that, and then do the implementation. So I'm really excited about the future, and I think this next couple of years are going to be very transformative, to use a big word that I think it's true. All right, but enough with analyzing Titanic. That was the demo, and my fear is that the time is up. Thanks so much for being here. What it says right there. I'm Vlad Iliescu, and yeah, I urge you to try these technologies. It's fantastic. Even if you don't try Copilot right now, but you should totally try it, just to get a sense of what the future holds. Try ChatGPT. Be mindful that the free version will probably use your prompts for training. So don't send it your plan to be rich at 30 or sooner. But you know, try getting into this world, because things are changing, and they're changing fast. Thank you again. I'm Vlad. Happy to have been here. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I don't know, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have one question on chat. So someone asks whether is there a way for Codespace to launch with the same extensions found on VS Code on my local machine?
Yeah, I strongly believe so. So let me share the screen again. I forgot to show this. Yes. So I'm guessing you can see my screen once again. All right. Yes. Okay. So on the one hand, you can sync your profile. So if you sync your profile, you can sign in here and you can have all your extensions synced. But alas, I'm not syncing my profile because I'm focusing on privacy sometimes, and I don't want to sync my profile. But in theory, you can do that, and yeah, it should just work. What I did want to show you was the extensions, at least locally. I see you have a bunch of local extensions and also extensions of Codespaces. So right, sometimes they might get into conflicts just a little bit, right? So but if that happens, I think, yeah, you see, these are going to be this. You have the choice of installing them in Codespaces. I have a lot of. I'm doing Python and C#. I'm doing a lot of cross everything development, and I can install this in Codespaces, but don't have it locally. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So in theory, you should be able to sync your profile. Totally try it.
Got it. All right. Thank you everyone for joining, and thanks Vlad for such a amazing session.
I think there's also one final last question. How to use Copilot in Jupyter Notebook or PyCharm? Well, in Jupyter Notebook, you saw I'm using it. You just need to install it. So that's easy. In PyCharm, there's an extension. I'm actually using it, so I can vouch that it works. So if you have access to Copilot, just install the extension, sign into your GitHub account, and it will work the same as in VS Code. Should totally try it. Thank you. It used to be bad. My accent used to be better, but now it's steadily going downhill. Well, yeah. Thanks again. Happy to have been here. Bye, everyone.